But after the Greeks, the Romans received the same sacred rites, the Pythian deity persuading them also to this undertaking, that they might procure the presence of the Phrygian goddess as a military associate in the Carthaginian war. And here perhaps it will not be improper to insert the following short history of this affair. As soon as the Romans had received the oracle of Apollo, the inhabitants of Rome, the friend of divinity, sent an ambassador to the kings of Pergamus, who then reigned in Phrygia, and ordered him to request of the Phrygians the most holy image of the goddess. But the ambassador, receiving the sacred burthen, placed it in a good sailing vessel, and which was in every respect well adapted to swim over such a length of sea. The ship, therefore, having passed over the Aegean and the Ionian, and sailed around the Sicilian and Tyrrhene Sea, drove at length to the mouth of the Tiber. But then the common people of Rome, together with the Senate, poured forth to the spectacle, and the priests and priestesses in particular were far more eager on this occasion than the rest, all of whom, invested with becoming ornaments, and such as were agreeable to the custom of their country, attentively fixed their eyes on the ship sailing with a prosperous course, and on the impetuosity of the parted billows as they dashed about the keel. But afterwards, when the ship drove into the port, each person adored the statue at a distance from the place where he happened to stand. But the goddess, as if willing to convince the Roman people that they had not led from Phrygia an inanimate image, but something endued with a greater and more divine power than ordinary, stopped the vessel as soon as it reached the Tiber, and suddenly rooted it, as it were, in the stream. Hence, on the people endeavouring to draw it against the tide, it resisted their efforts and remained fixed. Nor did it in the least yield to their attempts of thrusting it forward, and though every artifice was employed for this purpose, yet it remained immovable. In consequence of this, a dire and unjust suspicion arose against the all-sacred priesthood of the consecrated Virgin, and Claudia, for this was the name of the venerable Virgin, was accused as one not perfectly pure, and who had not preserved herself inviolate to the goddess, and hence it was said, the divinity gave evident tokens of indignation and wrath, for it now appeared to everyone that the image was something more divine than usual. But in consequence of this suspicion, the Virgin was at first filled with shame, so very remote was she from a conduct so unlawful and base. But when she perceived that the accusation against her gathered strength, then, unbinding her zone, and girding it round the extremity of the ship like one agitated by divine inspiration, she ordered all the multitude to depart. Afterwards she entreated the goddess that she would not suffer her to be circumvented by unjust blasphemies. And then, as they report, raising her voice, as if she was giving a nautical signal, "O Queen Mother," says she, "if I am chaste, follow me." But after she had thus spoken, she not only moved the ship, but drew it for a considerable space along the stream, and these two circumstances the goddess exhibited to the Romans for the purpose, as it appears to me, of convincing them that they had not brought from Phrygia a burthen of inconsiderable honour, but one worthy of the highest estimation, and not being anything human but truly divine, nor a piece of inanimate earth, but an inspired and divine possession. This then was one of the particulars which the goddess exhibited to the Romans, but the other, that no citizen, whether virtuous or depraved, could be concealed from her inspection. And besides this, the Romans from that time warned on the Carthaginians with prosperous success. These historical particulars, therefore, though they may appear incredible to some, and neither adapted to a philosopher nor a theologist, ought nevertheless to be mentioned, for they are commonly related by most historians, and the representation of them is yet preserved in brazen images in Rome, the most powerful of cities, and beloved by the gods. Though I am not ignorant that some of the vehemently wise will consider these matters as the intolerable trifles of old women, but to me it appears more proper to give credit to cities in these affairs, than to such knowing men, whose little soul is indeed acute, but beholds nothing with a vision healthy and sound.